So what I'm gonna go through in this video is about God. You know, obviously everyone has Allah or in different names, God. We call him Waheguru in Sikhism, and so, but all of us agree that we all believe in God, but we all have a different kind of idea of God's kind of mercy and compassion. And before I go on, I just want to say big up to Tommy Robinson. Yeah, the appeal's been successful, and so he's going to be released. So big up Tommy Robinson. The last 2 weeks, I think I've had what's called an epiphany, where I've finally realised why people from the Abrahamic faiths, and they become religiously ultra religious. I'm talking about including Christianity, including Judaism and Islam. They become so kind of fervent in their belief that it becomes irrational to a certain degree. I always assumed was because, especially with, I'm going to go with Islam. Obviously, I'm an Islamophobe. The reason I'm going to go with Islam, obviously, is because in terms of the kind of contradiction between their idea of a loving, merciful God and how he punishes his creation is like a massive disparity. With Christianity, it's a little bit obscure, and same with Judaism. But when it comes to Islam, it's concrete. It's like, this is what you're going to get if you behave, and this is what you get if you don't. And so over the last 2 weeks, I don't normally talk about theology, but I just started talking about reincarnation and why I believe it's more of a compassionate punishment from God. Big up to Ahmed Ali. Please, when it comes to certain individuals, when you see them in videos with me, there's a couple of people that I get on with, and the reason I get on with them is because they're truthful. Not like Ali Diva and all of those people who lie because they don't want to make Islam look bad. With Ahmed Ali, he says, I'm going to burn in hell. Well, that's what he believes. That's fine, I prefer to hear him say the truth. Same with people like, Shamsi and Hussein and them lot. I get on with these guys because I can have a good discussion. They're not going to lie to me. And I can respect people like that. Even if I disagree with you, if you are truthful with me, I can respect you. That's why I can't respect people like Ali Diva and all them who lie about their beliefs so they don't look bad. So leave Ahmed Ali alone. We're going to go to a mosque though, me and you. So let's arrange that quite quick. That'll be interesting. A mosque is a house of God. I believe in God, so I still believe it's a house of God. So I want to go there and see what it's like. So we're going to go. I'm going to go through 2 videos in a bit of a description of hell. And before everyone says, "Oh, these videos are wrong," no, they're quoting from authentic hadiths and the Quran and stuff. They're also very big YouTube channels with loads of subscribers. If you've got a different version, put a little description below and I'll listen to it. So before I go on, I was trying to explain in those videos is that the videos I've done about reincarnation, God being merciful. If your description of God is X, but his behavior is A, or just the other way around, and they're contradicting each other, then there's a problem. When you listen to, I went on to Islam.org just to get a proper kind of understanding of the way Muslims see God. And it says Allah's love. So I thought, all right, that's really going to kind of thing, because I believe that God is loving, compassionate, and is forgiving. So although he will punish you like a mother, and they use the same analogy as well, which is why I like. So it says, you have seen how a mother embraces. So this is alislam.org, which is a big website, and it says, you see how a mother embraces and suckles her little baby, how she expresses her feelings towards the infant. She does this due to her love and emotion for the baby, a bit like God. And even though they suffer, I'm not going to read that second bit because I haven't got time. And even though they suffer as a consequence, birds surely love their young, yes. The kind of mercy that fathers, mothers, and people generally, as well as animals, show within themselves is from the Almighty Allah. It is He who created such compassion, and it is He who instilled in animals how to love their young. So that's similar to the way God should love His creation. So it is He who created and provided us with the amenities for life on earth, including the necessities for the time we were in the mother's womb. He sent us prophets to teach us the right path, to keep us from evil and corruption, so we may enter paradise and be saved from fire and torment. And so this is the interesting part. Surely he's the most compassionate, the most merciful, constantly demonstrating his love, remember love, and his sympathy for his creatures. So he has sympathy for his creatures. This is the description of God within Islam. In return, we should love our Creator by thanking and worshipping Him. There's nothing wrong with that. He who has such love and mercy for us deserves great praise and gratitude. Remember, there's a lot of words like mercy, compassionate, and so I always, before I go through these two videos, I'm going to say something that the way a mother shows her love is not just through love, it's also through the way she punishes you. So a mother that loves you but then beats you 24/7 is not a loving mother if you've made a mistake. A mother that slaps you maybe, or just chastises you and gives you another chance, is a loving mother, because she wants the best for you. So there's a difference. I mean, I use the analogy on the thing is like, you know, a mother, you know, having a baby for 8 months and then suddenly going, oh, all right, it's misbehaved, we're going to chuck it in the oven and burn it to death. Yeah, it's irrational. Now, the other thing I need to go through is, I don't think people really understand what eternity is. You know, when you look at eternity, eternity isn't a trillion years, isn't a quadrillion years. It's infinite. Yeah, infinite. It does not stop, no matter what. There's no time scale to it. 1 billion years will be like nothing within eternity. So imagine that the creation of the universe would be like nothing in terms of the time scale that you would be going through, in terms of the torment from this loving, compassionate God. Remember, reincarnation, although a punishment, allows you to repent from your sins and get back to being with God. So I'm going to go through these videos here, and so this is the video. So if anyone says, oh, I'm just using any old site, I'm making Islam look bad, blah blah blah, the Prophet's Path, yeah, and it's got 809 subscribers, 809,000 subscribers. What am I talking about? Nearly 1 million subscribers, yeah, that's a lot. So let's listen to how God is described in here in terms of when someone commits a sin. Let's see what he will do.
My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, so these people in hellfire now are burning. They have been given clothing made of some type of fire. They have been given clouds that look like clouds of rain, but when they rain acid.
So let's just start that off. This loving God puts you in clothing that is made of fire, and the clouds are just raining acid on you all the time. You know, I mean, I understand punishing, but you know, there's punishment and there's what you call sadistic torture. And before everyone says I'm criticizing Islam, I'm not. I'm criticizing an ideology about a so-called compassionate God who believes in torturing his creations for eternity for, say, worshipping something other than him. Although I disagree with worshipping something other than him, I don't think that God will be so vindictive and merciless that he would just, you know, put you in a jacket of fire in eternity and like chuck acid on you all the time. It just sounds insane that God would be so vindictive.
Well, they've been given food, and when they eat it, they choke, and Allah says in the Quran, their intestines disintegrate. They drink certain fluids that when they bring their faces close to the dish, the faces of the skins of their face begin to burn, and it melts into the bowl.
So think about that. I'm going to say something. This is something that is probably at some point being taught to children, and I always had this idea that the reason why Muslims were so fervent was that they wanted to go to God and you know, the paradise with all the kind of like worldly kind of worldly kind of pleasures like women and things. But it's not. This is why I said I had an epiphany. It's not. They're scared of hell. And when you listen to this hell, you can understand why they're so fearful. I don't believe it's real because I don't think God is that bad and vindictive. But if you're being told this from when you're a kid, it can be very traumatic, I think. I think it's, in a way, it's almost like psychological kind of abuse if you're being told something, telling a kid, or even, you know, even if you're older, constantly. Because I've seen people kind of like, if you hear this, God is giving you food, and instead of the food being nutritious because you still feel hunger, it's going to burn your intestines. And then you have water, you know, you're thirsty still. So all of the stuff you still feel in this world, like pain and thirst and hunger, you still have that in abundance in hell. But instead of it being quenched by God, who's supposed to be merciful, it gives you stuff, it gives you food that is going to burn your intestines. And so there's no mercy. And remember, this goes on for eternity. There's no respite. So how can God be merciful and forgiving if he's torturing you constantly for eternity? It doesn't make sense. It's a massive contradiction in terms.
There are so many descriptions that no heart can ever imagine. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us their state now. وَهُمْ يَصْطَرِخُونَ فِيهَا. They begin to scream. The word يَصْطَرِخُون. Allah, usually there's the word يُنَادُون. They call out. There is a word where they say يَرْفَعُونَ أَصْوَاتَهُم. They raise their voices. But here Allah says يَصْطَرِخُون. It is a disturbing, terrifying sound of scream. A disturbing, terrifying sound of scream. I don't know if any of you have heard this before. You had nightmares of these types of screams.
I'm having nightmares.
They try their best in horror movies to do these types of screams. So Allah says, وَهُمْ يَصْطَرِخُونَ فِيهَا. They continuously give disturbing sounds of screaming.
حرها شديد. Heat unbearable. قعرها بعيد. Depth very deep. حليها الحديد. Your jewelry in hellfire is chains.
So God's creation is crying out for mercy, and a God that is so seemingly merciful is just like, all right, we're going to put you in chains and continuously burn you. Can you not see how that doesn't make sense? If you're describing your God as merciful, loving and forgiving, his action should represent that. And this is not representing a merciful and loving God. It's showing a God that, to me, feels like he's vindictive and cruel. And this is to all the Abrahamic faiths, not just Islam. But Islam has the... Let me say something. You know I've got a bad sense of humour, so before I go on, I will be joking a bit. Islam has the kind of like Ferraris of hell. It is on the top level of hell. It's like on the next level of the hell. When it comes to these Abrahamic faiths hell, they're like the little kind of like, you know, I don't know, like a little golf wagon beetle or something. It's just like it's no way in terms of the hell that you see there. It's just like kind of mild compared to this kind of hell. I like doing my analogies of cars though.
And steel. وشرابها القيح والصديد. And the drink you will have in hellfire is hot water. وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل يشوي الوجوه. All the feelings will stay the same. Don't think in hellfire you need no food. You only eat because you want to know. In hellfire you feel hunger, pain like you've never felt before. You get thirsty like you've never felt thirst before. But when you're hungry, your food is zaqum. What is zaqum? طلعها كأنه رؤوس الشياطين. A tree that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created in hellfire. The roots are in the bottom of hellfire, feeding off the sewage of all the sweat and blood and burnt skin, all the roots. And the fruit that comes from the fruit, this zaqum. The Prophet of Allah says in the hadith, if one drop of zaqum was to fall on earth, it will destroy life on earth.
So the food called zaqum I love Arabic words though, like mishrikun, kufar, and zakum's a good one as well. Like this is zakum, I'm going to use it from now. It's just like, why would God create a tree that would have fruit on it that is so freaking what I call a toxic and destructive to its creation, that you know he's just like growing these trees everywhere just to torture us. A tree is a beautiful thing from God, and you know it's been turned into some kind of monstrous entity to torture us. You know, this kind of like hell, I can understand. Like if I was a Muslim, yeah, I would be terrified. Like I wouldn't be able to go sleep. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And this is why I said I had an epiphany, because I firmly realized that Muslims are not. I do not want to. I'm not kind of like. I always thought they wanted to go to Jannah. I mean to heaven, and for paradise. But it's not. They're fearful of God. They're scared. They're scared of God, and that in a way is quite sad, if I'm being honest with you, because you know I believe God is someone you should love, and that He will punish you like a mother will punish you. He will be just in His punishment. Like I said, if your mother suddenly put you in an oven for eternity, she's not a just mother, whatever you say. It's a cruel mother and vindictive. And you can even say, I mean, people are going to go triggered, but you can even say it's an evil mother. Not even, if she is evil, she puts you in hellfire forever, a mother. So these kind of actions do not kind of line up with the God that I'm being told.
This is your food.
That is
This is
Allah.
the food you will drink. You will eat for disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Remember, I've got to say again, this is for eternity. You cannot get out of it. There's nothing you can do.
فإنهم لآكلون منها. Not only eating, not only eat and can't finish. فمالئون منها البطون. You will be forced to eat. You will ask for food. They will get you zaqqum, and you will be forced to eat until you have a full stomach.
So they're forcing you to eat.
Feel extreme thirst. Please, water. ثم إن لهم عليها لشوبا من حميم. You will be given hot water.
So when you want water, you're given hot water for eternity.
حميم, boiling hot water.
Boiling hot water.
Fire temperature. وإن يستغيثوا يغاثوا بماء كالمهل يشوي الوجوه. It will cook your face.
Oh my God.
Your face will start cooking.
Oh my
Your
God.
skin will start melting. Your organs will start going from this water. No comfort, no rest.
Now, just think about that. These are videos that children are probably watching, young people are watching, and, you know, I'm not an atheist, so I believe in God. And if you believe in God, but then you believe that God is then going to punish you to this extent for eternity. Remember, eternity is not a trillion years, not a quadrillion years. It's something that a human being cannot fathom what eternity is. It's never going to stop, and you cannot get out of it. I mean, imagine the trauma that causes to somebody in terms of their mental state if they truly believe this. Like Ahmed Ali believes this. Poor Ahmed Ali. If he doesn't go to heaven, he's going to be there. He'll get there. He's alright. He's a right guy. But I cannot accept. This is why I could never become Muslim or a Christian or one of these things, because I cannot accept God is that vindictive. I cannot accept it. I will not accept it, because I know God is loving, and this is not a loving God. This is a cruel, vindictive God who, in a way, enjoys torturing its creations for making mistakes, and that cannot be merciful. It contradicts that. Can you not see there's a contradiction there? It's like an oxymoron. You can't be somebody that enjoys torture, who will torture its creation, but then say you're merciful. That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to go into another channel just so that people know. So they say I didn't just do one. There's another one, a daily reminder, a very big site as well, nearly 700,000 subscribers. And you look at the comments, you know, they love this stuff. So I'll try. I'm not going to go through the whole video because it's actually 8 minutes, and I don't want to keep it too long.
This is Jahannam.
So
Jahannam has been described by the Prophet ﷺ in many hadith of Rasulullah ﷺ which are authentic. Let me tell you some of the.
So it says the hadiths are authentic, so we can take these as.
Number one, we know that Jahannam has been lit for 70 years until it turned white. Then 70 years until it turned red, and then for another 70 years until Jahannam turned black, meaning it was kindled. So what that basically means is that the angels, the 19 angels of Jahannam, they kept on blowing into it, blowing into it, blowing into it, and throwing into it bodies of shayateen and ins, and throwing into it
Oh my God.
rocks and whatever else.
So they're very dedicated to get the heat as hot as it can be. And they say the heat is not like earthly heat, it's on like sun level heat. So this is why they got the sun here. Like the sun cannot even comprehend to the heat that you will go, that will hit you.
Kindle the fire until the fire has been kindled.
What a loving God.
210 years. How long does it take to start a fire? Have you ever started a fire in the woods? It only takes 10 minutes, right? Sometimes if you get a light.
Let me just think it.
Barbecue, it takes only 15 minutes sometimes. 210 years. 210 years.
Yeah, we know that. It's been building for 200.
Jahannam has 70,000 rings. On each of the rings is a rope. On each of the rope is 70,000 angels.
So I don't get this. How can there be angels in hell? An angel to me is supposed to be something, kind of a being that is a loving being. What is it doing in hell? Helping God with its torture? It doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I can understand if the hell was for like, let's just say, you know, let's just for argument's sake, it was a billion years as the punishment. Even that is like really excessive. But an eternity, think about it. Even a billion years is nothing. It's like a drop in the water for a billion eternity. A billion years is like a drop in the water compared to eternity.
Huge, massive. We also know that Jahannam is insatiable. What does that mean? Insatiable means it every time you throw people in there, the more hungry it gets.
Oh,
that's why Allah subhanahu
no, all right. Yeah, it's a very hungry little hell.
He said, يَوْمَ نَقُولُ لِجَهَنَّمْ. On that day we will call out to Jahannam, هَلِمْ تَلَأْتِ, are you full? And Jahannam will say, هَلْ مِن مَزِيدٍ, is there any more?
Oh my God.
Okay, is there any more?
Why would...
And the Tafsir mentions that Jahannam will ask for more and more. And he will not stop doing it until Allah puts his foot on Jahannam and squashes Jahannam.
This bit, I'm not trying to... I don't understand this bit. This bit really confused me. And this is a genuine question to Muslims. It says Allah puts his foot on Jahannam and squashes Jahannam. What does that mean, the foot? Because I thought within Islam, it doesn't have... It's nothing like it's created. It looks... It's not like it's created. So a foot is a human entity, is a human description. Someone explained that to me because it completely confused me. When I heard that was one of the most confusing bits, I was like, oh, a foot? Like, God has a foot? That doesn't make sense, because I've never heard a Muslim saying that God is like looks like a human being. Obviously, you have Christians saying that it looks like his creation and stuff. But this was confusing. Please, somebody in the description, explain to me what this big foot is. I have no understanding, or whether that's a mistake, or whether that was something that is just part of a particular sect, like Sunni, and maybe not Shia. Maybe it's just a Sufi thing. I don't know.
That's it, Ya Rab.
You must have I better not say that. I was about to say something joking, but I know Muslims will get triggered. They haven't got a sense of humour like that. Sorry.
That's an authentic hadith of Rasulullah.
So that's an authentic hadith. All right. So please, someone, because they said it's an authentic hadith.
Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that it is 70 times hotter than the hottest fire in this dunya. Okay? 70 times hotter than the hottest fire. What is the hottest fire that we know of in existence? Millions of Kelvin, which is the temperature of the sun.
Whoa.
So it is hotter than even the temperature of the sun, 70 times.
Can you understand what they're saying? The sun, yeah, has heat that, we cannot even comprehend. And it's saying it is 70 times hotter than even the sun. And, just think about that. You're in that heat for eternity. And we're being told, or Muslims being told, that you will feel all the pain you feel now. Or you feel there, all the hunger you feel, all the thirst you feel. So just imagine that for eternity. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. There's no ending to it, no matter what you do.
And in the Arabic language, when you say 70, it means countless.
Yeah, I don't understand
To forgive the non-Muslims, I would still not forgive them.
Oh, what is that? Oh, that's good. Look to the kafars, isn't it? All right, I need to go back to that because I love the bits of it.
Even if you were to ask 70 times to forgive the non-Muslims, I would still not forgive them.
What? So even if you used to ask this merciful God to forgive the non-Muslims 70 times, he would still not do it. Yeah, can you not understand that does not sound like a merciful and forgiving creator? It sounds like a vindictive, cruel creator who wants to just punish, and you know, for eternity. It doesn't make sense. This is why reincarnation to me is much more. You know, people, it's still a belief, but I still believe if you was to say, if your criteria for God is that He's loving, merciful, and compassionate, this God is not that. It cannot be that, because his actions, or I'll say he, but the actions are contradicting your particular kind of description, totally contradicting it. It doesn't make sense.
That does not mean that only ask 71 times Allah will forgive. No, it means 70 means, in the word 70 in Arabic means countless.
Oh my God! So not even 70 times, countless. So you could ask God for eternity to forgive. He will not forgive. How is that a forgiving creator? It doesn't make sense. Like, please, man, come on, people, wake up. If you're listening to this and you think this is a loving creator, then there's something psychologically wrong. I'm not saying don't believe in God and don't believe in thingy and don't believe in a hell. I'm saying don't believe in this hell, which is eternity, and God is so unforgiving, because then it will set you up to be somebody that, you know, is going to be very fearful of life. And I see that in a lot of Muslims nowadays. Now I understand why. You know, if you're listening to this and you believe this wholeheartedly, I can understand now why when you say to them, "Oh, just say Happy Christmas." I mean, I've sometimes gone up to a Muslim, just as during Christmas, I said, "Just say Happy Christmas," and they would not say it. Like, and I could see the fear in their eyes, and I used to be confused about why are they so fearful to say this word, because to them that word is shirk and is attributing partners to God. And now I understand, if you truly believe that this cruel, maniacal creator is there gonna punish you for saying Happy Christmas because it's attributing partners to good, now I understand why that fear is there. Because I believe that a lot of the Abrahamic faiths, and especially Islam, is based on fear and not love. I know that's going to be controversial. People are going to go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you said that." It's the truth. So stop crying and bitching. It's based on fear and not love. And I, as a Sikh, our belief is based on love, but we fear as well. There's a difference. Like the way you love your mother, but you fear your mother too. That is normal, and that's how the creator should be. Not the other way around, that you fear, but you love. The fear is first. And this is one of the things that I see now within the kind of Muslim community.
The next description of Jahannam that has been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that it is so huge, and that the fire is so immense that it throws out sparks, and the sparks are so great that they are like castles.
Yeah.
And each spark is so huge.
Oh, that's nice.
If you see them as the sparks come, have you seen the sparks when they weld and the sparks fall on the ground like that? Have you seen that? So the Quran says when it comes out, a group of red camels, when they're flowing out or they're running away, can you imagine a pack of red camels?
I'm not sure what that is.
That people will enter Jahannam and have clothes made of fire made from them. Clothes of fire.
Yeah, once again, the clothes of fires come up.
So as for the one who has disbelieved, then clothes made of fire will be cut out for him. So we understand that the Jahannam has clothes made of fire that people will wear. Clothes made of fire.
So that's the second time I've heard that.
Description given by the scholars. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting what number I'm at. The next description that the Quran says is that Jahannam
Oh, this
has
food again.
a special food.
This
It has a special treat.
Oh, this is one of the most disturbing things I've ever heard. Remember, I want to put into perspective. I'd never heard the description of hell before from Islam. I always only heard the heaven. I just thought hell was hell. It's only when I had that conversation I thought, well, let me just double check what the hell is like. And you know, I knew it was bad, but you know, there's bad, and then there's just like, you know, pure kind of like vindictive hell. There's zakum. Zakum. That's my favorite thing. Whenever I'm gonna sing it, I'm gonna feed you a zakum. Yeah, so Ahmad Ali, if you don't let me talk, I'm gonna feed you a zakum. Watch. And actually, I'm gonna give one to Saeed and Ali Diva. I'm gonna get them a zakum and make them eat them all day. All day.
Verily, the tree of Zaqqum, it has a fruit that resembles the heads of shaitan.
What the hell?
Can you imagine the head of a shaitan?
A fruit that looks like a shaitan.
Into it, then it scalds, meaning it's acidic. It burns the inside. So this is the food of the people of Jahannam, the shajarat al-zaqqum. And it is a shajara that grows from the fire itself. Right. The next description of Jahannam that the Prophet ﷺ gave was that the people who will enter Jahannam will be made very, very big and large.
Well, I'm not sure what that...
Massive.
Why would you be made massive? What is the point of that? That's very weird. I'm not criticizing, I'm just confused.
The Prophet ﷺ said that the molar teeth of the non-Muslim in Jahannam will be the size of the Mount of Uhud.
So one of my tooth is going to be the size of a mountain. What is it? Why would God do that? That's a very odd thing.
The molar tooth will be the size of the mountain of Uhud. Can you imagine how big they are? And the Prophet ﷺ also said that the seat of a person in Jahannam, the chair that a person in Jahannam will sit on is the size of the distance between Medina and Mecca, which is approximately...
What? So you have to sit on a chair as well?
SubhanAllah. Can you imagine how big it is? How huge is the distance and how big their bodies will be? Why will Allah make their bodies so big?
Alright, this is really... Why does Allah make their body so big? What's the reason? Let's listen.
Feel the punishment even more.
Oh my God.
So that they feel the punishment even more. There's more surface area.
Did you hear that? So God, this merciful God, this loving God, for eternity has made you so large that one of your tooth is the size of a mountain. And the reason he does it is because there's more surface area, so he can torture you more. Please tell me that that is ludicrous. Like it doesn't even make sense anyway, because what is the difference whether you're the size of a mountain or the size of a mouse? Because either way you're going to feel the same amount of pain. So what difference does it make how big you are? Can someone answer me that? Because it doesn't even make logical sense. The size of yourself doesn't mean the larger you are, the more pain you're going to feel. Because the pain you will feel will be exactly the same whether you're a tiny creature or a large creature. Very odd thing. I mean, I don't even know what that's about. So please explain to me that. 'Cause I'm not trying to make fun, but it just sounds ludicrous.
There's more to punish. And so the punishment is felt even worse and even more severe. So, ya akhwati.
So he makes you bigger so he can punish you more. Imagine telling a kid that. Like, you're going to be the size, one of your tooth's going to be the size of a mountain, and we're going to burn you in eternity for hell, and the reason your loving and merciful God did this is because he wants you to feel more pain. That will kind of be like some kind of psychological torture to an individual, whether you're a kid or an adult.
This is what has driven people mad. And this is
of course it's driven people mad in this world as well. It's driving people mad in this world. Forget about in that world, you're driving people mad in this world. This is not the type of hell that I believe a loving God will create. This does not make sense. It's an oxymoron. You're saying God is loving and compassionate, but he's behaving in a maniacal, vindictive, cruel way. For eternity. For making a mistake.
Punishment, and this is the fire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know how severe the fire is? You know how severe the punishment is, that even a small amount of Jahannam, a small amount of the fire is enough to make your brains boil.
Oh my God.
Abu Talib will have...
Listen to that. Your brains will boil. I think a lot of people's brains are really bold in this world. I'm not gonna lie, because I've never really heard this until yesterday. I was up last night at night and I was thinking about hell. And you know, I know Ahmed Ali can say, oh good. No, it was bad. Because I don't believe this is what God would want. And so I can imagine a young Muslim lying awake at night, because I even did that, because I believe in a creator. I'm not an atheist, so I still believe in a creator. And I was like, all right, what if God did this? And I remember I was sitting up last night, because it's the first time I really heard this, and I have to admit, I was like, whoa, this is just so scary, man. Like, and it put fear in me, and then I had to stop that fear and go, all right, no, this is not what God is like. God is a forgiving, merciful God. Yeah, and reincarnation and everything is what I believe in. I'm a Sikh. And so I can imagine even someone who's kind of strong-minded as myself, for a minute or two, fell into this trap of the thingy. And this is how people are kept within Islam. It's a fearful religion and a fearful faith. And I know people are going to say you're an Islamophobe. No, I'm not. Well, I am a sort of sometimes, but I've improved. But it is you cannot tell me that this kind of hell is more of a kind of like, you better not leave this faith kind of hell. Otherwise, this is what you're going to get. And that is psychological, kind of like what I call torture.
The least of the punishment, the Prophet's uncle, will have the least of punishment, which is a sandal made from fire.
Why would you have a
sandal?
What? So let me just rewind that for a second, because I was trying to keep this video short, but I hadn't heard this bit. Whose sandal is made from fire? Only listen. We know that Abu Talib, I'm not sure, someone told me it was the least of punishment. Oh, the Prophet's uncle would have the least of punishment, yeah?
The least of punishment, which is a sandal made from fire, but his brains will boil from it.
So it's from an authentic hadith in Sahih Muslim. So the Prophet's uncle, I'm not sure what he did to deserve this. He will have a sandal made from fire, but his brains will boil from it. What does that mean? You know, I just do not get what that means. Like, are you trying to tell me that is more of a compassionate torture? Is that like the least that you will get? It's still, your brain is still boiling.
Hadith in Sahih Muslim. Also, we know that Jahannam is a place of ambush. We know that Jahannam is a place of
ambush. The thing is, I'm a little bit confused because I didn't listen to the last 3 minutes. Because I had enough of watching all these videos, so I just thought the beginning bit was alright, but I wasn't going to go through the whole thing. But this is quite interesting. I want to listen to this for the first time.
But there are hidden creatures in Jahannam that Allah has created to punish the people of Jahannam.
So creatures to punish people as well.
And that's in Surah Juz Abba, in Surah Naba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Jahannam is a place of إنها كان مرصادا للطاغين مآبا. Verily, inna Jahannama kana mirsada. Verily, Jahannam is a place of
ambush.
And the tafsir of that verse mentioned.
So not only are you being tortured, you're being ambushed by these creatures all the time. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, think about it, please. I'm not telling you to apostate, but think about the madness of a so-called loving God that is has created such a vile place of torture and intimidation, not just for 1,000 years, not for 100,000, not for 1 billion years, but an eternity. You cannot get away from it.
There are all these wondrous creatures. Allah has
wondrous? They don't sound wondrous. They sound freaking very evil.
In Jahannam, all made of fire, that will pounce upon the people of Jahannam.
Oh my God.
Bite upon them.
So they bite us as well. Oh
so
my God.
This is Jahannam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you and me from it, and our families from it. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us away from it and write for us safely from Jahannam today. Oh Allah, make us from those people who are safe from Jahannam.
Yeah, I don't know. So let's go back to the description. Now, you've watched it. Now, this is the description from alislam.org. Surely he is the most compassionate, the most merciful, constantly demonstrating his love and his sympathy for his creatures. Alright, you watched just a snippet of what hell was like. Does that sound like compassionate, the most merciful, constantly demonstrating his love and his sympathy for his creatures? In return, we should love our Creator by thanking and worshiping him. He who has such love and mercy for us deserves great praise and gratitude. I don't even really need to say anything. It does, you know, you can't. That is not Allah's love. The way somebody shows love is how they treat you when they're giving you praise and how they treat you when they're punishing you. If a mother, I'm going to say it, if a mother shows you all the love in the world, but when you make a mistake, chucks you in an oven and burns you for eternity, that mother is a bad mother. If a mother loves you, but when you make a mistake, punishes you, but lets you try and redeem yourself, that is a loving mother. You cannot have a God that you say is compassionate, the most merciful, constantly demonstrating his love and sympathy for his creatures. This is what they say in this site. And then creates a place of torture and hell that you just saw there. Anyway, I'm going to leave it because I don't want it to go on for too long. I'm going to be honest with you, you know, this has given me a big insight into the Muslims' mindset now. Now it's taken me a long time to get to this stage, but now I understand the mindset. I understand they are they are fearful of God. They love God to a certain degree, but they are more fearful. It's like having a really, 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 really tough parents who will beat you constantly, and so that kid is just constantly in fear. And this is what I see in a lot of Muslims' eyes when they see something that is going to go against their faith. They look scared and not, and I can tell within the eyes. Now I understand where that. I used to find it quite confusing. I was like, what is wrong with these guys? Normal, rational people, and now I understand. Yeah, I was up last night, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. Poor Muslims, if this is what they have to go through, because I was up last night and for around 5 minutes I was thinking about hell from Islam, and damn, like even I was getting a bit traumatized. So please, I'm not trying to kind of like, yeah, I am criticizing this kind of, yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not. I am. I'm gonna say it straight. I don't think, I know. No, it's not. I don't think. I know God is not like this. I know He is not. And so I hope Muslims can maybe put this particular hell as more of a theoretical hell. It's not a real hell. And it's just there to kind of scare them. Please don't think this is what God is. Because I think that is very, 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 very detrimental to your psychology. Anyway, I hope you lot enjoy this. And the hate's going to be hard. But come on, you know I'm telling the truth. Anyway, Allah's love.